Oh, I see. That's fun.
Let's see here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. There's only one more coming. I'll give them 1 more minute.
All right.
Fine.
Pretty cool how we make them homes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking about how much technology has changed in the last 10, 20 years.
Yeah, it has. I got some good old tips for our discussion today.
Good. You got them written down there?
Yep.
There you go.
Jason comes prepared.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Sorry about that.
You're good.
Okay.
No worries, no worries. Give it till 4:01. So we got 10 seconds. All right. Diane and Danielle, do you mind if I connect us to Facebook Live as well?
That's fine.
Go right ahead.
All right, I will get us on real quick. And then, yeah, it'll be on our Facebook page. So if you guys want to share the video or rewatch it later, it'll be there.
Well, I'm sure my mom's on Facebook Live. I'm sure she'll be watching it too, because she wants to learn more too. So
I think this will be a really good topic to talk about because this is a number one killer too.
Oh, yeah.
I have some friends that have it here in Topeka, and one of them is my friend Steven. I don't know how bad he has it, but
My mom and dad are diabetics. They have it. I almost got diabetic. My doctor again, I'd say, nope, I don't have it.
that's a good thing.
Run in for my family.
Okay. Are you guys ready to go?
Ready.
Okay. And then you guys know the drill, athletes. So I hate it when I hear background noise and I have to mute you guys. So do your best.
It's okay I mute if I wanted to.
You can, yeah, definitely. You can go ahead and mute if you guys want to. And then when Danielle asks you guys a question later, feel free to unmute yourself and answer, okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go, guys. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh. Oops. Live anyway. We almost forgot to add a title. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our monthly health webinar on Wednesday. So today we have two very special guests with us, Diane and Danielle. They are from the Lions Club. So they are going to be talking to us about diabetes awareness and prevention. So before we get started, I'll go ahead and introduce you guys to our speakers. And then after I introduce you guys to our speakers, we'll have the athletes also introduce themselves before we get started. So Miss Diane, she has been a Lion for 30 years. She served as the first female president of the Turner Lions. She has served as club membership chair and tail twister. In addition, Lion Diane served as zone chair and served on district fundraiser committees and district convention committees, and was honored to serve on the USA-Canada Forum Host Committee when the forum was in Overland Park here in Kansas City. So Lion Danielle was privileged to serve as a membership chair on the state membership extension, retention, and leadership team, and on the state finance committee. She has served as a guiding lion with her husband David, and together they started their current club, KC Downtown Lions. She has attended numerous training programs offered by LCI, the state and region, including the Great Plains Lions Leadership. She has been honored with the Claude Devoris Fellow and is a Melvin Jones Fellow. Diane and David will be celebrating 50 years of marriage this December, and they have 2 adult children and 3 active grandchildren. So welcome, Diane. And Miss Danielle, she is a nurse, and she has been a nurse for 21 years. She has experience including long-term care, public health as a school district nurse and educator, She is currently teaching health science classes at the high school in Eudora here in Kansas. She has taught certified nurse aid and certified medication for 2 local community colleges since 2008. Danielle has a bachelor's degree in nursing from the University of Kansas, hoo-ha, and has been an active member of her local Lions Club since 2016. Danielle has a passion about education and serving her local community. She enjoys spending time with her husband, and she also has 2 sons and their dogs. So that is a little bit about our speakers for today. Let's have each of the athletes introduce themselves. Tyler, can you introduce yourself for us?
Sure. Hi, my name is Tyler Griswold. I'm the president of a global health mixture, and I'm an athlete of Sedgwick County Thundercats of Special Olympic, Kansas, and I'm an athlete input console for Special Olympics too. I'm helping each athlete. I want to thanks for United Healthcare working for me and all the athletes here of different counties here in Topeka, in Sedgwick County. I want to say thank you, Danielle, join with us. Thank you, guys.
Tyler. Carol, can you introduce yourself for us?
Grandma Brittany, Pittsburgh Denise, Grandma Brittany Denise, Brittany, Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Thank you, Carol. Yes, Carol is from Pittsburgh, Kansas, and she's a part of Mosaic. Becca.
Hi, I'm Becca Henderson. I'm a health messenger and a global messenger for Special Olympics Kansas. I'm with Topeka Shawnees / Topeka Stars. That's who I'm representing, and I would like to thank United Healthcare for doing so great things for us and sponsoring us. And I would like to thank you, Diane and Danielle, for coming on and doing this for us. I really appreciate it. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Becca. Jason?
Hello, my name is Jason. I'm an athlete of Special Olympics of Kansas. This is my 6th year, and I am with the Air Capital Flyers. I want to thank United Healthcare for helping us out, and I also want to thank Danielle and our other special guests for joining us today. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jason. Andy? Andy, you're a little bit far away from your mic. Can you move up a little bit closer for us, bud?
Kansas.
Yes, so Andy is from JCPRD here in Kansas City, Kansas. Thanks, buddy. Carrie?
I'm Carrie Hart, and I'm from Mosaic.
Thanks, Carrie. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Diane so that she can do an overview of the Lions Club.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Jesse, and thank you, Special Olympians, for letting us come this afternoon. It'll be a pleasure, I'm sure. As Jesse said, I'm with the Lions Club, and the Lions Club is the world's largest service organization. We have 1.4 million people. That's a lot of people, and it's in over 200 countries of the world. So there's a lot of countries involved in serving the way we do. Historically, the Lions have focused their service area because of Helen Keller. She asked us to be Knights of the Blind. And so we have spent years focusing on helping people with vision problems. But the world changes every day. Needs in our community and the world change with those. So the Lions have increased their focus of service. And so we have 5 areas now that we work on. One still being vision. And we also know that diabetes is very close to vision issues, and I'm sure that Danielle will mention that in her talk. The other is hunger. We also are very interested in the environment and making sure that the world is livable for all of us. And pediatric cancer, and then diabetes. And that's the reason we're here today, is because that's one of our areas of focus. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Danielle, because she's the real reason y'all want to listen.
Hello, guys. Thank you for having me, Jesse and Special Olympians. I look forward to tonight and can't wait to share with you. I'm going to go ahead and share a presentation, okay? And as I'm speaking, if you need to ask a question or make a comment, please feel free to do so, okay? Okay. Does that look okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so we're going to talk about diabetes awareness and prevention. And again, my name is Danielle Young. I am a nurse, and I've had quite a bit of experience with diabetes between family members and taking care of patients and taking care of residents. So, what is diabetes? We're going to talk a little bit about that first. When someone has diabetes, they have a condition that is long-term. Diabetes doesn't really ever go away, but we can treat diabetes with different types of treatments, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, okay? So when we eat, our body takes in the nutrients, the food that we eat, and it turns sugar and carbohydrates and certain parts of our food into energy. And you all know we need lots of energy to do our work, to exercise, to do just about anything. So within your body, you have an organ that's called a pancreas. And what happens is that pancreas is supposed to secrete what's called insulin. So it lets insulin out to help turn that sugar into energy. And sometimes it doesn't always produce enough, or our body just doesn't use it like it should, okay? So why is diabetes important? Well, kind of like Diane was saying a little bit ago, it can have a big impact, and it can hurt things like our heart, our eyes, our kidneys, and several other areas of our body. So we are going to talk about the two different types of diabetes, okay? Sorry about that. All right. So there's two different types, and we're going to talk about the first one. The first one is type 1 diabetes. This is the kind of diabetes that you usually will see in children, teenagers, and young adults, okay? And this can impact anyone, men, women, okay? It doesn't matter, race and gender do not matter. You can be Black, you can be white, you can be Hispanic. It affects everyone, okay, and can. Unfortunately, with type 1 diabetes, it is not preventable, okay? Basically, your body kind of starts attacking itself, and the insulin doesn't get produced like it should. So you have lots and lots of sugar in your blood that's not being converted to energy. It can start causing some damage, okay? They say about 5 to 10% of the people that have diabetes have this type of diabetes. Okay, the other type is type 2. And again, this impacts people whether you're male or you're female. And this usually, though, you see diagnosed, you see people, adults having this, okay? They didn't have diabetes when they were children. They didn't have it when they were young adults or teenagers. They develop it as adults, okay? And they say that about 90 to 95% of people are going to have this type of diabetes. And this is where the body makes insulin. It just doesn't make enough, or it doesn't use it properly. So again, you have lots of sugar in your blood that's not being converted to energy so that you can use it properly. All right, so these are the symptoms of diabetes. Would anyone want to read the slide for me?
And
Yeah, go ahead, Jason.
okay, so the diabetes symptoms are being extra thirsty.
Yeah.
Number 2, needing to urinate frequently. Number 3, extreme hunger. Number 4, unplanned weight loss. C in type 1. Number 5 is tiredness. Number 6 is being irate. Number 7 is blurry vision. Number 8 is sores that are slow to heal. And number 9, having frequent infections.
All right, very nice job. Yeah, that's exactly right. And there are some other symptoms that other folks may show. And the thing with these symptoms is sometimes we are just extremely hungry, and it doesn't mean we have diabetes. Sometimes we're just really tired. Have you ever been really tired or really hungry, especially after you exercise and things like that? Sometimes we can be a little irritable or a little moody sometimes, you know? So just because you have some of these symptoms doesn't mean that you have diabetes. What do you think you would do, though, if you had some of these symptoms?
I would think that you would have to really watch your symptoms so they don't worsen, because if they worsen, it could get really bad per se. But I think you gotta be able to avoid them sedentary behaviors that come along with it, so you don't hurt nobody.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. And when you see symptoms like this, you do want to keep an eye on them. How long have they been going on? Okay. And do you have lots of these symptoms? You know, if you're tired, taking a nap, does that help? Those types of things. And if you see these symptoms, or if you see lots of these symptoms and they're going on, like you said, for a while, you're going to want to talk to your doctor about them. Okay. So let's go ahead and we'll talk about type 1 and type diabetes, or type 2 diabetes. And the thing is, there's another difference between the type 1 and the type 2. And remember, with type 1, I told you we usually see this start with kids and teenagers and young adults. And these symptoms come on really quick. And they can be very severe and very noticeable, okay? Now, the type 2 diabetes that we see start later in life as adults or older adults, these come on, the symptoms are slow. They're not as noticeable, and they can be really mild at first. So sometimes we kind of ignore them a little bit because, you know, they just come on so slow. So we got to really pay attention to our bodies and how our bodies are acting. All right, so let's talk about prevention. And I think you guys are going to have some really good tips here, okay? Because you brought up something here a second ago. Type 1 diabetes, remember I told you, you really can't prevent that, but what can you do? You can know that you have family members with diabetes, maybe a mom, maybe a dad, maybe a grandparent, maybe a brother or a sister. If you know you have diabetes in your family, that's always a good thing to let your doctor know so that your doctor can keep an eye on that, okay? Type 2 diabetes, this is one that's really, you see a lot of in the news, and they talk quite a bit about, because with type 2 diabetes, a lot of times we can prevent this, or we can keep it from getting progressing and getting, you know, to be really severe or really hard on our bodies. Okay, so type 2 diabetes, you can prevent it by eating healthy foods, by exercising, being active at least 30 minutes a day, and maintaining your weight. And sometimes we don't know what is a good weight for us. You know, my weight's going to be different than Jesse's weight, or Jason's weight, or Carol's weight. Our weights are going to be different. Okay, so that's another good thing to talk to your doctor about, is what is a healthy weight for you, okay, to try to maintain. Any questions there so far?
I do got one.
Yeah, go ahead, Jason.
So on the type 1 diabetes, on the type 2 diabetes, how come children and younger adults can't get this, but they can get type 1? Like, how does that
work? Well, because type 1 diabetes, remember, if you recall, I said earlier that it's an autoimmune disorder. It's where the body sees itself like it's as harmful, so it attacks itself and causes it, is to where type 2 diabetes, you know, you got that possibility of getting diabetes because maybe your pancreas doesn't react, it's kind of sluggish, it doesn't work as well as it should. And then what happens is if you don't eat healthy, you don't exercise, you don't maintain your weight and take care of your body, those processes are going to slow down, and your body won't let out that insulin to help fix that sugar in your blood. Did that help?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah. So kind of with type 2 diabetes, that happens over time. And a lot of times it can be due to, like what you said, being sedentary.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if we have a family history.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Tyler, did you have a question?
See, like, my mom, my dad are diabetic.
Yes.
Like, I see them, see, my dad's keep poking his finger every time, like squeezing blood out his finger. The test said, it said, okay, it's a sugar's high, it's a low. Like, my dad told me, it said, okay, the blood sugar is very low. He had to go to the hospital to put more sugar in him to get the blood sugar go up. If it's very high, you have to eat some sugar like candy bars, cereal, something like that to help to low down the sugar. Like, I know my doctor says, okay, you had to get a needle, a testing strip, and a monitor to test yourself, say how your sugar is doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that is true. So if your doctor is concerned that you may have diabetes or you have a family history of diabetes, yeah, he or she, your doctor, can definitely test you for diabetes. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But yeah, they can test you for diabetes. And sometimes if they want to keep a closer eye on you, they may have you tested at home. And that does take, you prick your finger with a little device that makes just a little pinpoint prick, and then you squeeze blood and you put it on a monitor, and then the doctor is going to have you record those numbers so that he or she can look at those numbers to see how your blood sugar is running. Do you have too much sugar in your blood or not enough sugar in your blood? Because having too much in your blood is not a good thing, but we also need some sugar in our blood. Okay, so it's kind of a balancing act. So yes, sometimes people who are diabetic, if their blood sugar is really low, they do have to eat something that has some sugar or some carbohydrates in it. They make little, kind of like little candy tablets for that called glucose tabs, or sometimes just drinking some orange juice or some milk or something like that. And then sometimes when their blood sugar is really high, yes, they do have to give themselves injections of insulin to bring that blood sugar down. You're very correct.
Like, my dad's trying to get a patch, like you hit your monitor, like you hit down, it check the number for you. The
Yep.
insurance cannot pay it.
Well, that is the problem, is insurance and getting the diabetes supplies that folks need. That can be very difficult. But with technology, they have come out with some really great ways. So you don't have to prick your finger as often or give yourself a shot very often.
Right.
Nice job.
Thanks.
All right. Let's talk about a healthy diet, okay? And I think it sounds like you guys on Mondays talk about, is it superfoods?
Yep.
Yes.
I love that. I'm so glad to hear that, because I was going to talk a lot about food today, and I think you guys are going to be able to tell me a lot about food and what a healthy diet is to you. Because when we talk about healthy diets, we got to talk about diets that are high in fiber and high in nutrition, all those vitamins and minerals that we need. So we should eat lots of fruits and vegetables, as you guys know. We should eat beans and whole grains. And if you look at the packaging, it will tell you if the grains, if the bread, the pasta, the cereal says whole grain or not. And your whole grains, your wheat breads are healthier than just your white breads. And also eating some nuts and stuff. So it doesn't mean that you can't ever have something that's high in sugar or high in carbohydrates. You know, every once in a while, people want to enjoy a piece of cake or a cookie or maybe have a soda. Okay, so why don't you guys tell me what you know about healthy diets?
Okay. One thing that we kind of know about healthy diets is that we do have to watch our portion size and how much food we typically eat.
That's true. Very true. Having one cookie compared to 10 cookies is a big difference, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Who else would like to share?
See, like candy, like people, see, little kids love candy. Like Halloween is coming up. A lot of people are buying baking candy for trick-or-treating. Do you know a lot of people love sweets like every year, like Halloween, Christmas, like that? Like they love sweets in their stocking every Christmas day. Like I know candy is high sugar. Like
Mhm.
we need, I know candy is high sugar. We need to watch it and say we don't want to catch um high blood pressure or diabetic. Sugars will clog your heart. Like we need to watch it. We don't want to gain weight or clog our heart. We need to watch sugars.
That's very true. Yes.
I know that dark chocolate is kind of healthy, like if you can have it like once in a while, but I mean, but other chocolates are like milk chocolate is really unhealthy for you, and it has a lot of sugar in it. And I I really don't like having candy a lot. My dad works for a candy company called Mars, but he doesn't bring as much candy ever since this virus started. So I'm really happy that we don't have to worry. We don't have to worry about that right now, and have we, because me and my parents don't eat candy at all.
You don't.
We don't eat that much anymore anyway. So
Well,
yeah.
that's great, Becca. Thanks for sharing. And you're right. Well, and working around candy all day may not even make you want to eat it. But
Yeah.
Dark chocolate, yes, it does have some good things to it. But again, it's kind of like Jason was saying earlier, it's all about portions and maybe having one piece versus multiple pieces. Yeah.
Yep. It's just one small piece, and yep.
Anyone else have anything to share before we move on? All right. Okay, so let's talk about exercise. So it's recommended, and this goes for all kinds of things. This goes for taking care of our bodies in more ways than just diabetes. This is for your heart. It helps get your circulation going. It works your lungs, which is great. And not only that, but when we exercise, our minds feel better too. So it helps our mental health to get out and to exercise. So about 30 minutes a day is good exercise. And people enjoy different forms of exercise. I've got lots of them listed here, and some people enjoy mixing it up. They might do one exercise one day and a different exercise another day, or some people may even get in more than 30 minutes a day. Then there are times where maybe we don't get in as much, but we try to pick it up the next day. So why don't you guys tell me about some of the exercises that you enjoy doing?
I love swimming. I do powerlifting. I love to walk. I like to walk my dogs because I have 2 dogs, and me and my parents usually go walk our dogs, and really nice and make me comfortable.
Yeah, great.
See, like for me,
I walk every morning.
You walk every morning, Carrie?
Yeah,
Oh, that is
Cool.
great. And the weather's been wonderful for that.
yeah, it's been nice and cool.
Yes, it has.
What exercises do you do?
Jumping jack.
You do jumping jacks?
Yeah.
What about your bike?
Ride it.
Oh, you ride it?
Mm-hmm.
like for me, like I play sports. Like for me, I do bowling and I play basketball a lot with all my teammates and all the Wichita State Unified teammate. Sometime I took a walk with my friend Olivia, like around my neighborhood every time, like Saturday morning.
Oh, cool.
It get hot, muggy, like we like to go out very early in the morning, walk around. We like
That's
to
cool.
before they get hot outside.
Yeah, that's good.
I'll share a little bit of what I like to do.
Okay.
I am Jason Wells once again with Air Capital Flyers, and the sports that I love to play, and I have quite a bit of them. And I done swimming, bowling, basketball, softball, soccer, flag football, and some of them other things. And I feel good once I come out at practice, and I love playing sports and I love being an athlete. I also was with Tyler Griswold's Sedgwick County Thundercats and the Wichita Wizards. So I've been on 3 different teams and done 3 different sports. But that is the sports I love to do.
Great.
Oh, I have one more thing. I heard yoga. One of my powerlifting coaches, they like to do yoga, and because she likes yoga, but when we do our warm-ups and stuff and cool downs, we do some yoga poses, and that helps us relax and make us that we can breathe, and that helps a lot with powerlifting, and that's one of the best ways to help with powerlifting and other sports.
Yeah. Well, those are some great exercises you guys mentioned. That's a wide variety, and you bring up a good point that doing yoga and stretching helps with flexibility. It also helps our muscles so that when we do exercise, we don't damage our muscles. Okay, it helps us to cool down, helps us to relax. So yeah, always doing some yoga and doing some stretching and stuff is really important. That's great. And as winter's coming in, some of you guys mentioned that you have some indoor activities that you do, which is always good to find some of those indoor activities because, we tend to, in the winter months, just like Tyler was saying earlier, we start seeing a lot more food, candies and things like that. And you start seeing all the Thanksgiving foods and you start seeing all the Christmas foods. Well, winter can make it pretty hard sometimes to get out and to be as active. And it's not as easy to be as active sometimes in the winter. So we have to look for those indoor activities that we enjoy. All right, anybody else have anything they want to share before I go on?
I got a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
When it comes to being inside for the winter and going out in the cold, my question to you about that is, what is it? Okay, I remember. My question to you is, as you stay in the house inside the winter and go outside from warm air to cold air, how likely are you more to get sick than you would in the spring or summertime?
Well, it just really depends. If you stay outside for long periods in the cold, that can be a little bit tough. But whether you're outside during the summer or you're outside during the winter or the fall and spring, you've got different things that you have to battle. You have to battle the heat in the summer and taking care of your hydration and making sure you get enough to drink because you're sweating. Also, in the fall and spring, a lot of us deal with allergies when we go outside, which can, it can be hard. And you get some of those fall and spring colds. And then in the wintertime, yes, they do say that being outdoors in the wintertime, as long as you're not out there for, a long time and it's extremely cold outside, you should be fine to get out there and take a walk or to do something outdoors. The biggest thing is if the cold air bothers you when you breathe it in, it's okay to wear a mask outside or a face covering. I find that very helpful. In the wintertime, like when I want to go out and walk, because I do feel like when I breathe in, sometimes that cold air can bother me a little bit. So think about things like that. Think about what time of day you're out there and how cold it is and how long you plan to be out there for. And then think about the weather conditions. You do want to be really careful, if we've had snow or ice, making sure that your sidewalks and your streets, wherever you're going to be walking, is clear. Because you do tend to see a lot more accidents when people get outside in the wintertime and we've had bad weather. All right, that was a good question. All right, so how to know if you have diabetes. I was going to talk a little bit about this. And with this, talk to your doctor if you're concerned. Okay, if for any reason you have concerns about diabetes, you feel you might have some symptoms of diabetes, okay? If you have close family members with diabetes, you're over the age of 45, they say, and usually around that age, your doctor might start doing some diabetes screenings anyways. They can order the testing as needed, and then can also help you. Your doctors are really good about diabetes prevention, okay? And if they detect that you do have diabetes, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the treatment of diabetes, because one of the things is, if you know of a family member or a friend, like you guys were telling me earlier, everybody's diabetes treatment is a little bit different, okay? So, I'll talk just kind of, a little bit about it here. Type 1 and type 2 diabetes, we still, both of those are going to be treated with a healthy diet and exercise, okay? Eating healthy foods and foods that are lower in sugar and lower in carbohydrates and provide your body with good nutrition is much better for you. And exercising helps bring your blood sugar down, okay? And if you know of anybody that is diabetic, they do tend to watch their blood sugar closely when they're exercising, because that does burn that energy and burn off some of that sugar. So sometimes their blood sugars can get a little lower, okay? Maintaining a healthy weight is good for both type 1 and type 2. And then type 1, you mentioned injections earlier, I believe, Tyler. And yes, they do give insulin through shots. They've got lots of great technology now, like pumps that people wear. And sometimes they do take a pill or a medication that they take by their mouth. Type 2 diabetes, that you tend to see people develop later in life. A lot of times it's healthy diet, exercise, and maintaining a healthy weight. By doing those 3 things, you can keep your blood sugars down and not need medications. Every once in a while, especially when somebody first finds out they have type 2 diabetes, they may need to take a pill. And that's completely up to the doctor to decide based on what their blood sugars are and what the doctor is seeing. So that's all based on a doctor's diagnosis and his decision on how to treat, his or her decision on how to treat the person. Any questions, guys?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I have listed a couple of resources here for you guys. These resources are the American Diabetes Association and the National Diabetes Education Program. This National Diabetes Education Program, there is lots of great stuff on here. And they have some actual programs that anybody can go in and take for free. So if you're looking for more information on diabetes, both of these would be really, really good resources.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I definitely agree.
Is there anything else you guys would like to discuss or to ask me about diabetes or diabetes prevention?
Like my mom, my grandma never eats. I told her, like, where we're down there every time we're in Arizona, my grandma never eats. She do work out a lot. I told grandma to say, you better eat something. If you don't eat something, you will maybe cause the diabetes. And she never eats. Sometimes she eats seafood. That's only she eats. Sometimes she drinks Diet Coke. I tell grandma, they say every time she buy a Coke, like Diet Coke, I say, Grandma, no more pop. It's not good for you. She never listened to me.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're doing your part. You're encouraging her and trying to get her to eat and to eat healthy. Yeah, and sometimes that can be very hard. People get used to doing what they've done for many years, and that can be really hard. But it sounds like you're doing the right things, and you're listening to the different programs that you're involved in and getting your exercise. So that's really good.
Yeah. That's why I'm helping.
Yeah.
Another question for you. How high does your blood pressure have to be considered that the doctor can call it diabetes? Like, what's the percentage rate?
Well, it just kind of depends on the person. And one of the things they do is they watch your blood sugar, and they want your blood sugar to be what's between 70 and 110. okay? And now right after we eat, so if you were to just eat dinner and check your blood sugar, do you think it's going to be high or low?
Like,
Hi.
Yeah, it's going to be high because it takes your body a little bit to say, oh, here comes a bunch of sugar, here comes a bunch of carbohydrates. Now we got to release some insulin to combat that. So right after you eat, your blood sugar is naturally going to be a little bit higher. So what they usually do is they watch your blood sugar after you haven't eaten anything for about 2 hours. Okay, so they may have you eat and then check it 2 hours later. A lot of times, if they're going to check your blood sugar when you come to the doctors, they usually tell you before you come to the doctors, please don't eat or drink anything so many hours before you come. Okay, because they want to see what your blood sugar is first thing in the morning, and then sometimes they want to see what it is a couple of hours after meals. And then sometimes they'll, kind of like Tyler was talking about earlier, they'll have you check it a couple times a week and kind of watch how those blood sugars look throughout the week and see how they're going. So it kind of just depends on the person and what the blood sugars are. But yes, when they start getting over 110 and the person hasn't had anything to eat or drink in the last few hours, then they'll start looking at what's causing those blood sugar issues. And then they'll make a diagnosis if they feel based off of testing that somebody has diabetes.
just like the blood work, like doing drawing your blood out of your arm, like
Yeah, that's sometimes the easiest way for them to do it, because sometimes when you go to the doctors, you know, they ask that we usually go about once a year to have a history and physical, and they'll kind of check us over from head to toe once a year. And a lot of times with that, they'll do blood work. And they're not just looking for diabetes when they do that. They're looking for high cholesterol that can affect your heart. They're looking to make sure you're doing healthy and doing well in numerous areas of your body and not just diabetes. But yes, that is one of the things that they can order and they can look at for sure. And if they see a problem, it doesn't mean they're going to say immediately you have diabetes. They may keep an eye on you for a little while. They may even tell you that you have pre-diabetes and that your numbers are a little bit high. And if you don't eat healthy and you don't keep your weight down and you don't exercise, you could end up being a type 2 diabetic.
okay.
It's very interesting to know.
Yeah, diabetes is very interesting. The body in general, there's lots of interesting things about our bodies. Yeah.
I had a grandmother, she passed away 6 years ago. She had diabetes. I can't remember, I think it was type 2, I think. And like, remember just seeing her, she was so skinny and little. And I mean, she was a healthy lady. I mean, she inspired me. She's like one coolest grandmother I ever had. And just like whenever I saw her, like having her blood sugar low, and that was just the hardest thing for me. Yeah. But if she had low sugar, or high sugar, she would have a little candy bar just once in a while. And she has to sit down a lot, and that really helped her. But yeah, she was a healthy person. Like she was just awesome, and I'm really proud to be named after her.
Oh, that's wonderful, Becca. Well, she does sound like a really cool grandma, and it sounds like you got a lot of good memories and you had a lot of good times with her. So I'm glad to hear that, and sorry to hear she passed away. But yes, we can still be very skinny and seem very healthy and still have diabetes. We have to think about what we do now, how it might impact when we get older. You know, sometimes we think just because we're young and we're healthy that things aren't going to affect us later in life, and they will. You know, eating unhealthy, not getting exercise, no matter how skinny we are, will have an impact on us later in life. So it's very important to think about what we're doing now and not just what we do later. And one of the things that you guys have mentioned to me, several of you, is having family members who have diabetes, whether it's type 1 or type 2. And that's really good to know. Knowing your family history, if you're able to, is really, really important, because a lot of times when we know that somebody has, in our family has diabetes, or maybe we have somebody in our family, you guys have mentioned high blood pressure. Those are things that we can watch for and we can tell our doctor about, and he or she can watch for also. So knowing your family history, if you're able, is really, really important.
Definitely.
Mhm.
And I want to say this to athletes. I encourage you all to eat healthy, and I want you guys to do really good on eating, because we got to try to stop this. This thing is very bad, and we need to all watch out for that. It will catch up with us.
That's very true. And one of the things that I should mention that we talked a tiny bit about when we were talking about the weather and getting exercise is with you guys being athletes and doing the sports that you're doing and the exercise that you're doing, is making sure you get plenty of water, because your body requires water. And water is very, very healthy for you. And so definitely getting in those 6 to 8 glasses of water a day is really, really, really important. And one of the things I've noticed being a nurse throughout the years is most people think that you get dehydrated, you don't get enough water in the summer because you sweat a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that can actually happen in the winter time too, because we turn our furnaces on, you know, we turn the heaters on to heat our house, and that dry air kind of dries us out. So water is just as important in the wintertime as it is the summer. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Is there any more questions from you guys?
Nope.
One last question. There's not any questions. I just want to say thank you so much, Danielle. This was incredible. This was so valuable to all of our athletes and families who attended us here on Zoom today, and all of those athletes and families who were with us on Facebook Live. So athletes who are here, go ahead and unmute your mics if you are muted. And on the count of 3, let's give Danielle a huge thank you. Okay? You guys ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thank
you.
Danielle.
Thank you guys. I really enjoyed myself. This hour went by really fast, and I really, really had a nice time. It was a lot of fun for me to meet you guys and to hear from each of you.
Thank you so much, Danielle. So that is going to conclude our monthly health webinar Wednesday. We will keep you guys in the loop for our next health webinar Wednesday. But for now, let's go ahead and tell everyone we'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Have a great weekend coming up. And we hope you guys eat healthy, drink lots of water, and ultimately stay healthy. See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.